Right, what is happening, everyone? It's that time again. It is story time, and this time we are coming in heavy, heavy, heavy. Right, this one's not for the faint-hearted. It's going to be a long one. I'm going to go into detail, right? And I'm going to, your emotions are just going to be up and down. I'm going to take you through every emotion there is to go through. And if I deliver it well, which I'm sure I will, let's just say I've had permission of my fictional mate, right? Let's just say that. So, all stories are fictional, blah, 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 blah. As always, big shout out to everyone on the channel, yeah. Thanks for standing by me over the last week. Some of all these, it is what it is. We've all got kids and that. So, I'm coming in heavy on this one. And, I haven't posted nothing for a little bit. So, I just thought, what, this is the time. So, I phoned me fictional mate up. Said to him, can I tell him this? Like, he said, lad, do what you want, lad. He said, do whatever you want, lad. He said, I've got your back. He said, do what you want, lad. He said, lad, we've been through all kinds. I'm like, all right. I said, I'll change your name and all. He's like, go on, sad. I said to him, lad, can I read the record thing you give me out? And he went, no, lad, you can't. I said, lad, why? He said, lad, because see the stuff in the red box. And he went, lad, you're not allowed to even know that. I said, all right, figure out the red box, so can I read the rest out? He's like, lad, change names. They're all fictional. This is all fictional. The documents I've got now are all fictional, right? So this is coming in heavy and it's coming in hard, right? And I'm sort of half like, I don't know whether I should do this, but I'm already committed. So let's go right now. This is foreign faces with foul intentions. Oh. So goes to me mates, let's just call him Jay for this story. It's about 8:30 in the morning and I've just been in the gym, but he lives by there. So as I drove past the scene activity, the curtains and window was open, so I could see the telly on through the blinds, because it's like a wall-mounted telly above his fireplace. Now, Jay's kid is a little girl called Lottie, and she hasn't been well for the last few days. So the day before, I grabbed some toys, put them in the boot of the car for when I see them. But the toys weren't just for the baby to play with, but to wreck his head. So I chose proper gaff wreckers like Play-Doh, glitter, sand and stuff like that. Now, we call them gaff wreckers. And if you're listening now, if you've got kids, you know exactly what I'm on about. Sounds like I'm being an ass, but he does it to me with my kids, and I'm just left tidying up all night, just sand everywhere. So it's just like a little slight thing we do to each other for a laugh. Now he knows my little lad sucks jellies and sticks them to the wall, but he hides them in like proper stashes jellies, wet, like on the walls, behind couches, and Jay thinks it's hilarious, and my little lad laughs too. So by the time I find them, they're proper stuck to the wall. You know what I mean? Like Weetabix, when you're stones, and you get Weetabix and you go upstairs, you have Weetabix watching the telly, and then you leave the bowl in the bedroom, you come downstairs, forget about it, and then you go up the next night, you're like, I forgot about that. Yeah, well, that's what it's like. Honestly, there's wallpaper missing in the shape of penny sweet cola bottles and them snide little jelly things everywhere. But it's all out of sight in place you can't normally see if you get me. So it's not where me sorting it, because it'll just happen again and again and again and again. So I'm going to wait till he's older and lose interest in doing all that kind of stuff first. Because I know me kid, right? And I know quite well that if he sees me wallpaper, he'll just want to do it even more. Do you know what I mean? So that's what he's like. He's just one of them kids. So parks the car up, gets up the car, walks over, knocks on the door. He's like, yes, lad, what's happening, Scouse? I'm like, what's happening, Jay? I said, lad, how's that baby girl, lad? He's like, lad, she's on the mend, mate. Now, we call each other's kids ours, if that makes sense. So he calls my lads ours, like he'll ring me up and he'll be like, lad, how's our little boys, lad? It's just how we roll. I'm like, Sam, where is she? He said, in the living room. So goes back to the car, opens the boot and gets this bag out, and you can see bright colours and shapes of Play-Doh through the bag. He's just like, lad, you are a rat, you. He just knows what's coming. So walks, I'm like, hello kid, how are you doing, laddie? She's like, Uncle Scouser. I said, look what I've got for you, babe. The kid just goes in the bag, just goes straight for the Play-Doh and sand. Bish, bash, bosh, tip the sandal off the floor. So I just pays a laugh and I'm like, lad. He's like, oh, lad. He's going, lad, you're normal. You ain't what he went, watch now, lad. He went, lad, we'll bring our little boy a full kilo of jellies later on. I'm like, lad, you're getting stage before you even come in. So he just about starts laughing. Next thing his bird comes in, she must be in the shop or something like that. And she just looks at me and she just looks at the mess and just starts laughing. So she knows what we do and she's proper sad, you know what I mean? So she just laughs and like, probably makes him clean up where I've gone. So before I tell you this story, I'm going to tell you a little about Jay, yeah? Right, name, can't tell you. Age, can't tell you. From Liverpool, right? Regiment, 3rd Battalion, Parachute Regiment, 3 Para. Rank, Sergeant. Service years, 2005 to 2014. Deployment, Helmand Province, Afghanistan, serving out of Camp Bastion. First tour, Operation Herrick 4, 2006. Last tour, Operation Herrick 13, 2010 to 2011. Specialisations, Close Quarter Battle, CQB. Forward operating patrols from FOBs like FOB Incoming and FOB Price. IED clearance drills, though not EOD certified. Tactical first aid and casualty extraction under fire. Leadership in high pressure short notice missions. decorations, Operational Service Medal Afghanistan, Queen's Commendation for Brave shit. Unofficially rumoured, let's just say that, we don't talk about that. Parachutist wings, jumped in Brunei and Kenya on training ops. Ah, mate, the kid is sick. I get goosebumps into that. He is one sick kid. So let's just round it off in a nutshell, because I'm probably reading too much there, but military history: enlisted in the British Army at 18, served in 3 Paratus Battalion Parachute Regiments, reached rank as sergeant, completed several operational tours in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, including multiple rotations at Camp Bastion, known for his discipline, calm under fire, and ability to lead lad through chaos. Attached officially to the SAS for covert ops, off the books, but you know, if you know, you know. Speaks Pashto fluently. Now, Pashto is the language spoken by the locals near Camp Bastion, which proved vital to his touring conditions. Let's see. I can't even read no more. I'm borderline. Yeah, I can't read no more, but you just get the picture. Now, this kid, from my personal experience with him, and you know, I met him when we were kids in school and we used to fight in first year juniors. That's how we met. I hit him with a book, right? I did clubbing book and I hit him with it, so he chinned me. So flat, and then about 2 days later, the senior just ran over and stole on him. And I remember running to the teacher. She said, what? I said, all right, I'll go to the headmaster. She's like, nah. I was thinking, shit, I'd rather go to the headmaster. So I had to come back down, and then we just ended up fighting for a bit, you know what I mean? And then one day, I think it was over marbles, you know, like fucking marbles. Remember marbles, like super meathead spacey bits and pink moons and all that? I think we ended up just being mates over that. And then next thing, he was just in mine on Street Fighter. That's just what it was like, you know what I mean? Now, he's a straight talker, absolutely no shite, but he's clever, you know, like Scouser's wit, and you know, we've been in times where he keeps a level head. There's just absolute chaos, and you can, like, I don't know, like, you might think I'm chatting shit, but the kid has got like this thing for predicting danger before it even happens. He doesn't even shout. He just needs to look at people, certain people, and he just listens, you know what I mean? But like, since he's left, he's got like, let's just say low-key PTSD, but you know, he mashes it with like, he's got humour, he's got structure, and you know, as for mates, he's fiercely protective, do you know what I mean? He protects his own, he's loyal to the core, and I mean loyal to the core, and especially with me, do you get what I mean? He's just proper loyal, and you know, he said to me, lad, I see you as the only one person who stays real, lad. He says, other people, lad, he tips over around me, and he says, but you just say how it is, but I can tell that he struggled with civil life before he had the kids and all that. But he just refused to go backwards, you know what I mean? Now, he left the army, it was 2014, he got medically discharged, he had a knee injury, it was some sort of rooftop op, so he tried to do security and close protection, but he just ended up back in Liverpool, he went all over the place, do you know what I mean? Now, what happens was he had really nowhere left to go, because there's no help for people like that. They just get legged, it's fucking horrible, mate. They just get legged, left on the streets, and you know, they've got PTSD, and you know, the things he's done for us, mate. Honest to God, I wish I could tell you what I know, but I can't, because I end up on about 10 watch lists. So he said to me, lad, what can I do? Can we work with you? I've been like, of course you can. Now, you know, I love this lad, and he's always been with me, but you know, he just went his way and I went my way, and you know, hats off to the kids, hats off to the kids, but where's it got him? Nowhere. Look at the country now, it's got him nowhere. Look at what he's done all that for, he's given his life for that. And all the people, veterans, army, you know, mate, they've just been treated like shit, haven't they? And this shoots here, wank here, mate, he's just next level in, mate. You know, when you sit back and think I'd rather have Margaret Thatcher as a Prime Minister than him, that's saying something, but you would though. Let's be honest about it, you would though. Even if you're a Scousers are forced, like, you've got to vote Labour, and Labour's this, Labour's that, and look what they've done to us, mate. You rats, like, no. So he keeps his berry in the drawer, right? I still see it all the time, and he's got a Union Jack fold next to it, and his mum's rosary beads, rest of soul, yeah. So, you know, he's like, he's settled, like, he's just settled for second best, you know, he struggled after discharge, and, you know, the world's moved different, hasn't it? Like I said, I met him in school, first year juniors, and after our little scraps and that, we just ended up being proper mates, and just always have been ever since, and we've got a bond where it just can't be broken, whether you've been away for 10 years, whether you haven't, you know, we've always been like talking, and when he's come back on leave, and, you know, we've been going out, and this, that, now, this kid is calm and calculated, yeah, he doesn't even shout, he'll never, ever back down, but he doesn't need to prove himself, yeah. And like, he's still wild military style, he's punctual, he's paranoid, he's sharp, and he's just loyal to me, no questions asked. But like I am to him, do you get what I mean? So if I point, he just destroys without a question, doesn't even ask why, and says to me, lad, I'm not asked to ever watch it, whatever your problem is my problem, even if you're in the wrong, and even if you're not in the wrong, I don't care, lad. Now, don't get this mistaken, it's a two-way thing, you know, always has been. But like I said, mate, you know, if I point, he destroys. If he points, I destroy. There's no questions asked, and that's how it will always be until the day we die. Yeah, and now he's out the army, so his lads who served under him, and they'll die for this lad in a heartbeat. Whatever's gone on, I can't even imagine the stuff they've been through together as a firm, do you know what I mean? But every single one of them lads are proper hard as fuck, yeah. If his firm turns on you, it's only a matter of time. You're just a dead man walking, right? Now, I know them all, I've known them for years. They're all sad, they're all my mates. They've got respect for me just like I have for them, yeah. They call me sick. They say to me, lad, you're proper heavy. Fucking pot kettle black, that, innit? Now, fighting-wise, as like Straylor's one-on-one Straylor goes, yeah, he's trained, he's efficient, he's lethal, right? But, I don't know, I've got this sort of weird hold over him, which isn't like, it's not like on purpose, but it's just from when we were kids, I think, do you know what I mean? Because he just like, he respects me, and he doesn't reckon he can fight me. But whether he can or he can't, it's another matter. But he is a trained soldier, he is a para, so let's just look at it like that. But all his mates have told me, like, lad, he proper respects you, you know, lad, and he just says, lad, you're sick. And I'm like, well, I won't like all off our bars. And then he goes, lad, he said, he always said to me, lad, even before we knew you, there's just something about the Scouser, there's presence and just unpredictability, do you know what I mean? It throws him off, it always has. I've got this like kind of weird psychological grip over Jay. Now, we've just always been like that since we were kids. Some call it respect, others say fear. But I just call it brotherly love, do you know what I mean? I call it brotherly love because I love this lad, yeah. Now, Jay operates behind the scenes, he keeps the graph running smooth, he's quiet, but believe me, he's dangerous, mate. And you don't really see him, but you know, if you see him in the street, it means something's about to go off, yeah. Now, let's get into the story, brace yourself, and if you've got a weak stomach or get offended by heavy shit, click off it now, because this is going as heavy as it gets, yeah. We are Scout Stories, and this is foreign faces with foul intentions. So let's fast forward about a week right now. Now, Jay, he's got a graft, right, and his graft is area where he grafts in isn't where I like to linger, you know, like a Kenny and all that sort of caper, you know what I mean, and it's all foreign nationals around there, so I don't really be arsed with all that shit. No disrespect, but I just don't be arsed with that shit, I couldn't be arsed with it. So he says to me one day, he says, lad, are you coming out tonight? He said, me and all the lads from the army, we're all going out, we're all going to go do this, and I'm like, yeah, he's like, lad, they're all asking about it, now half of them got my number, and they're texting me, lad, you're out, I'm like, yeah, now this is a squad, right, so I'm not even bringing my own close mates, I'm with this firm today. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm not a floater, but I've got my own firm, but I've go with other firms as well, do you know what I mean? Now, there's different firms we go with, and I have no beef, and I wouldn't get involved in their beef, and I do this, I go with the dollars. Now, Jay is my proper close mate, so his mates are my proper close mates as well by now. Yeah, it's been years, mate, it's been over a decade, we all know each other, everyone's sad, we've been out the army for years, and, you know, we've been for scams, we do this, we go to parties, we do this, I phone them when I'm in parties, if I just want to come to a party, they phone me like, lad, where are you, blah, 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 and it's just always the same, it's always a belter. So he says to me, yeah, well, come to mine in a minute, days, you bring your stuff to mine, all that. So I was like, go on, sign. So gets a shower, goes to this, sees the baby, what's happening a lot, he's like, how's the babies? I'm like, they're all signed, you know, little girl, proper sign. Now she's recovered now, she's proper signed, and the baby's Mars there, you know, Jay's bird, and they were talking, was always like, what is up to? Like, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, she's like, these are all lunatics, you know, she's like one of them birds who, she's not like cut from the cloth, but she's like, she knows a fella, and a fella is a proper unit, mate. He's a unit. He doesn't portray himself as a gangster, he doesn't act hard on people, but you know, if you cross him, be the worst thing you ever do, right? So we're all sound. So he's like, what's that? He goes, lads, he says, go see these kids. He said, come with me. I said, come on. He said, yeah, come in my car. I said, come on, sound. So let me car outside this now. He's taking a bit of limo for these kids, and these kids are in Kenny now. Let's just say they're not from around there, the foreign faces, right? So now remember, this is very important, the language that he can speak, because he calls me names in that language, right? You know, and I've picked up on it, so I know things, and I know what's going on in this, that. So I'm like, where are you going? He's like, this gaff, this, we pulls us this gaff, right? And it's only early, so he goes in, knocks on the door, walks in. Now when I walks in, I just sensed seediness. That sounds rough, it sounds like, you know, I'm not rated, I just sensed seediness, mate. I could just tell. I was looking around, there's about 5 of them in there, and I'm like, what's that? Like, hello, brother, blah, blah, blah. So he goes in the kitchen, right? So as I goes in the kitchen, I've got wandering eyes, me, I'm observant, yeah, and he has as well, he's observant, but I'm cheeky observant, where I'll be like, what's that, lad? You know what I mean? So as I goes in, I sees this big bag of ale on the floor, so I thought, weird, I thought they don't even drink at all, weird. So she sees this receipt and the receipt on the side. So I says to him, yeah, Jay said, what's it past that day? I said, let's just check that's like, let's just check it's not one-to-one. He's looking and saying, what do you want? So I've got it and pulled it out, but what I'm doing is I'm looking at this receipt, I can see it's the receipt for ale. So I look, and the receipt's from hours ago. So this ale's still in the bag, right? Now, I know that might mean nothing now, but, mate, get on this. So I'm just thinking, why have they got a big bag of ale in this gaff with a receipt from hours ago and no one sucked it out? If that was me and that was you, yeah, you go to the office to get a bevy, that bevy's getting open as soon as you land. Do you know what I mean? What are you going to the office for? They're all sitting there like this, that, and I don't know, I just felt something. I don't know what I felt, but maybe the stereotype of what's going on around the UK at the moment, but I just felt so, mate, I felt so. So Jay's looking at me and I'm looking at him, he's got these like little side eyes, so I'm like sort of like trying to point out the receipt, but he's not getting on it, but he's sort of half like, he's talking, do you know what I mean? So I said, hey, said to the lad, do me a favour, lad. He's like, what, brother? I said, can I go to the toilet, lad? And he goes to his mate, but what his mate says back, alarm me, because I know some words. Decama to ole bande, matene prez, ibalashe, bandwevi. And I'm thinking, what's he just said there? I know what he just said there. Let's just say, Camp Bastion, Helmand Province, yeah. This is where they're from. I can tell and recognise the language, and I can speak a bit of it, because the words they were using were cameras and stuff like that, right? So what he said, right, what I've picked up on it, like, was the room upstairs locked with the cameras? If it is, don't let him go up. And I'm thinking, yeah. And the look on Jay's face, because he can speak the language, just says exactly everything. Get on this. So I says to Jay, labad dabbies abad abouts. He went, yabba. I said, is it, lad? Yeah. So these are looking at me like, what are these talking? We're talking Scouse, lad. We're talking Scouse, lad. I said, lad, let me gabbo. I'm upstairs. Yeah, sound. So I said, yeah, lad. I said, yeah, I need a piss. I'm going to piss myself here, lad. What's going on? What are you all chatting? So the other kid's saying to me, yeah, no problem, no. Walks the stage, the kid's behind me. I said, why are you behind me, lad? I said, oh, because you hold me to for me, lad. He's like, no. I said, well, what's the way to turn him there? Like, come on, go downstairs, lad. So he's like, oh, yeah, because I put him in a place where, what are you coming upstairs before, lad? What, lad? Do you know what I mean? What are you coming upstairs for, lad? With all me dick? You little mushroom, what, lad? So I go upstairs, right? And the key is in the door in this other room, and I just know because no other room's got locks in it, and I'm just like, so he has a piss, because it does actually need a piss. And I'm thinking, there's no way, so just creeps out, didn't pull the chain, yeah, creeps out, just snabbies, yeah, rolls me feet round, yeah. Now, if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. I rolls me feet round, marches over, yeah, unlocks the door, opens it, and there's a camera in a bedroom, CCTV, yeah, in a bedroom, right? And I'm looking and just dirty as see, it just smells of charges, mate, you know what I mean? So I've just thought, I'm taking the fucking key, mate. So I locks the door and takes the key, gets back out, then flushes the chain, and then goes back downstairs, makes a point of making, like, banging down the stairs, goes downstairs, looks at him, and he just looks at me, and I was giving him this like little, he just knew what I was on about, so he's like, yeah. I said, alright, he said, so I was like, alright, then go on, sign it, yeah, if you need anything else. Now, these have got lemo. What are these on the lemo for, mate? You've got a bag of bevies, and you're getting lemo. What for? It's only early, you haven't even owned the bevies. None of you are on the stripes. None of you are on the bevies. What have you got it for? Goes outside, says some lad, like, what is that, these are up to something, lad. He's like, yeah, 1,000,000%. He's like, 1,000,000%. What do you want to do? Now, we're meant to be going out, but guess what? We're not going out. We're sitting these off at a distance to see what's happening, yeah. We are doing a full recce on these, right? Your pure military style, mate, right? So, sitting there, so we were sitting there, honest to God, we were sitting there for about an hour, our phones were all on, we're like, listen lad, get on standby, might need you, yeah. Next thing, this Golf VR6 from like 2002 or something pulls up tinted windows, right, and there's already like 4 of them in there, and now there's another 3, and 2 birds, yeah. I looked at the birds, these birds are from round the area, they're about 14, yeah, and they're just getting ushered in the house, right, and I've just looked at him, and he's just looked at me, and I've been like, lad, and he's going to me, lad, and I'm like going, lad, I can't stand him anyway, lad. He went, you know the amount of beef I've had with these, and you know, I said, what are you going to do? He went, hey, what do? I'm going to phone the lads. Listen to me now, right, we know what's going on, there's no way it's not going on, yeah, and we have got 3 para regiments on the fucking way. Now, when I tell you quick time response, you should have seen the response. These must have just been like ba from all over the city, all different cars. These are all juiced, they're all proper, the condition. Oh my God, mate, there was about 15 of us, right? I've jumped out the car, we probably around the corner, we told me to go now, high five, what's that, let them see what I like. And one of them goes to me, are you going to show us how sick you are? What do you mean? He went, lads, he said, you know, lads, he said, is this what we're going to do? I went, lads, I said, I don't need to show no one nothing, lads, I don't need to prove nothing to none of you, lads. And they're like, lad, I'm only messing. He's like, well, who's leading the way? I said, I'll lead the way, lad. I said, what's this then? Goes over, knocks on the door, fell up to the blinds. I'm like, brother, I left my keys. And he must have just been like, shh. So he's opened the door, right, and walks in, and there's about 7 of them, right, there's these 2 birds sitting there, the birds have got the berries, these aren't even the berries, and there's just stripes on the table, and I'm just thinking, yeah. So I went, well, what's happening? So where are you from? They're like, from round here. I said, he's alright. They're like, yeah. I said, you know these? And the lads are trying to rush me out, and they just know that, I've got 3 parrots outside the gaff, mate. So I'm like, what's that? What are you doing to these lads? These are all like 35, 40-year-old men. I'm like, why are these in your gaff, lad? Oh, we know them. I said, you know them? I said, yeah. I said, what's her name? He's like, such and such. I said, what's your name? I said, come here, you. And he's like, no, but I said, don't put your hands, don't you fucking put your hand near me, lads. I said, come here, you, stand up, get here now. So she stands up and that. I said, what are you doing in here? She's like, I said, are you being forced to be there? She went, not really, but, you know, I said, you've been groomed. I said, just tell me now if you've been groomed. I said, I've got a firm outside now, right? You know, if you tell me that you're here against your will or whatever. I said, they're already getting it anyway. I said, so here's what's going to happen. I said, they're already getting it anyway. Right, they're getting it. Right, so here's what happens now. They either get it and you tell me the truth, or you lie to me and they get it anyway, and I fucking drag you home to your family and tell them what he's been doing. And she just went, listen, he's got blackmail on me, what? She went, I told he was younger, he was on this app, whatever it was. I'm not going to say because I want to select here. I sent him some pictures, you know, with topless and all that, and he's blackmailing me. I went, easy, yeah. I said, all right. I said, well, what's that then? Because I've got the key to this room, remember, yeah. I said, what's that room upstairs? She went, that's where they take us. I said, is it, yeah? I said, mate, I'm nearly vomiting in my own mouth, right? And I'm just like, okay. I said, do me a favour. She went, what? I said, you know, when it comes in a minute, I said, just run in the back kitchen and stay in the back kitchen and shut the door. You and her. It's like, all right, sound. So I'm like, all right, brother, no problem, yeah. Giving them 5, give the girls a little hug, whisper to the ear, watch what happens, fucking nab out then, kids. And she's just made up, she just knows that there's a scouser and we're here to help them, yeah. She's getting blackmailed over topless pictures. Now, I know 14-year-olds shouldn't be selling topless pictures, they shouldn't be sending them nowhere, but you know, a 14-year-old girl thinking it's a 14-year-old lad is a different sort of kettle of fish. You know what kids are like nowadays, yeah? Now, that's not my business. My business, they pretended to be 14-year-old lads online. They've got pictures of them and they're blackmailing them to show everyone, public humiliation. So I'm like, all right, sound. Goes out, walks back over to where we are. He's looking at the blinds to make sure I'm going way back around the corner, yeah. And I'm just like, yeah, come here, here's what they're doing, right? Now get on this, right?